What's going on, guys? I'm Jay the Black. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I appreciate it. Like the video. I want to talk about Jeannie Mai and young Jeezy making it official and getting engaged. And for those of you who don't know, Jeannie Mai was previously married for a long time to this Caucasian guy, right? And then I'm gonna tell you why it's gonna be relevant. But now she is dating and now engaged to young Jeezy out of nowhere. Now, if you look at two things, right? Not just the ethnicity, but just the type of guys that she goes from. She goes from dating Bob. Well, that's not exactly his name, but you got Square Bob. Then you go to young Jeezy. Okay. Now, I did a video and I explained, why she is now exclusively dating brothers. That's what it seems like to me. She's a little bit older and she now wants to just date brothers. And, with Jeezy, I'm pretty sure he wasn't the only one, but he was the only one that she, have gone not long term, but she decided to be with, right? Now, this shows me some things. Like, she has been known to be a bit of a fan of melanated men. I think that was just a setup for this Jeezy situation. A guy who she basically met on the show and started dating. But also, what I want to know is this. How do you go from being married for as long as she was with the ex to all of a sudden getting engaged to Jeezy? Who does this benefit? Does it benefit Jeezy or does it benefit her? I don't think it benefits him. I don't really think that marriage necessarily benefits men very much, especially in North America. I just don't think it does. And from my understanding, I could be wrong. Jeezy has never been married before. I mean, if he has, y'all can let me know. But I don't know. This is just kind of weird that you have them go from dating to being married, because I was under the impression that it was just like a short-term dating, could be a fling thing that turned into a relationship. But, they've met each other's families and they seem to genuinely be into each other. Now, I'm not one of these people that like to push IR relation. I'm not one of those type of guys. But I noticed that, when you have melanated women dating interracially, getting engaged and getting married, they get a lot of praise. I know there's going to be people that are going to we're probably getting upset at Jeezy because of who he chose, just because of, where he's from and what he raps about. And, there are going to be some people that are disappointed. But I think that if you truly like somebody, if you truly found love, there's nothing wrong with that, But again, I'm just not for marriage. I just don't think it benefits a lot of us as men. I just don't. So according to page 6, to give you a little bit more info, Jeannie will have to add wedding planning to her 2020 vision board. The real co-host, who's 41, Jeezy is 42, is engaged to boyfriend Jaye. Rep for her confirmed Monday to People, revealing the proposal took place in late March. So Jeannie and Jaye were set for a vacation to Vietnam in this April. What Jeannie didn't know is that Jaye was planning to propose. Her camp told the outlet, noting that the 42-year-old rapper surprised Jeannie with a quarantine date night in his home filled with Vietnamese food and decor. They were first linked together in January of 2019. The couple made their romance Instagram official in September. Jeezy and I hang out, she previously said on The Real. He's very special to me. In 2017, Jeannie split from her husband, Freddie, after 10 years of marriage. Jeezy is the father of 3 kids. And I haven't heard any, drama with the baby's mothers, which shows that he has a good relationship with them, which is good. Jeezy, has older kids, so I don't think that's really an issue as far as situation is concerned. But I think that with Jeezy and Jeannie, she's somebody who definitely got her groove back, and Jeezy has her feeling a certain way. You know, Jeezy got her, feeling like she's young again, And that's the power of a lot of guys, man. When a woman meets the type of guy that she's never really been with, but always have wanted to, because I think that she's always wanted to date a guy like Jeezy. But because I guess culture or where she's from, she was never able to do so. But now she's able to do so. But my thing is to Jeezy is that, are you sure you want to go this route? Everything is good now. You've only really been dating for what, about 2 years? So, again, everything is good now. Well, I want to say 2 years, excuse me, my bad. They've only been dating for about a year, almost a year and a half. So about a year and a half, they've been dating each other. Almost a year and a half. It'll be a year and a half, I think, about June. But are you sure that this is what you want to do? Because, again, everything is good now because you're sort of in that new relationship phase. And when people are in a new relationship phase, they tend to be more in love then. But once you marry somebody, that's when the real test comes, because you're living together now, you're married, you're exclusive to each other. And this is Jeannie's second time. Well, this will be her second time. But also what I have noticed is that when you have a lot of these couples get together like this, celebrity couples, they rarely, if ever, really walk down the aisle. I mean, there are times they do. I'm not saying do, but we've seen engagements come and go. And to me, an engagement is just a sign of everybody's on their best behavior. Jeannie's on her best behavior. Jeezy's on his. What's going to happen when you're around each other more and more, The quarantine hasn't, dented their relationship. I could say that. But honestly, if you are a guy in North America and you're wondering whether you should get married, if that's the route you should go, I don't know if a lot of guys would really, if they really did the research and looked up certain things, they would really go that route. That's why I'm saying these relationships come and go, especially with engagements. Those engagements usually don't work out. They usually don't. So what we have to look at with Jeezy is a guy who I don't know, but I don't believe he's been married before. Again, if he has, you can let me know in the comment section. But for everything I know from him, he hasn't. This is a guy who is in a different stage in his life. We know what Jeezy used to rap about. I was a big fan of Jeezy back in the day. He seems to be in a different space nowadays, a more wanting to settle down. One rapper who got married, I believe it was last year, 2 Chainz. I believe he married the mother of his kids. She's not a celebrity. There's a woman he had been with for a long time. And I believe that, 2 Chainz is in a different stage in his life. And because he's in a different stage in his life, he felt like it was the right time to get married. It could be the same way with Jeezy. Maybe Jeezy just never really met somebody who he was truly into like that. That he felt like, I can settle down with her. And maybe he has met that person with Jeannie, somebody who has embraced him, who's embraced his family, who's embraced his culture, that he feels like would fit right in. She's in the industry somewhat. She's in entertainment as far as, doing a TV show or whatnot. But, maybe he finds her interesting. They're from 2 different cultures. People from 2 different cultures, they can mesh very well because they're curious about each other. That's why I say the longer this relationship goes on, let's see if that, flame is still there. Because sometimes the flame can flame out to the point to where the people ain't really into each other like that. Because you're going to have exes that's going to feel some type of way. You're going to have somebody who may not be as opt-in on the relationship. But to me, both of them seem like they're into it. I'm not against Jeezy finding love, or Jeannie getting a second chance at finding somebody. But the thing is this, man, like, she's been married before. She's going through that whole process, man. Okay? And if you were to marry her, man, I don't think she would have any issues going through it again. That's why you got to be careful out here, man. You know, you got to be careful with who you put your time, effort into, because you don't want to be disappointed. You know. Now, Jeezy seemed like an intelligent guy. I don't think he's a dumb guy at all. So maybe he's calculated the risks and said, you know what, this wouldn't be a bad idea. But again, you know, he's gonna need, you know, I don't think a need, but I would wish him luck on it, because again, these celebrity relationships rarely, if ever, really work for the most part, especially engagements. Engagements come and go. You know, now sometimes you got these couples able to marry each other and it lasts, but there are times when it doesn't last. And those are the things that you have to look for. But I don't wish any, you know, ill will on the situation. So understanding where we are, right? Understanding who we are as people, as individuals, we have to take a red pill view of everything. And marriage, to me, when you have a lot to lose, you have to think twice about. I would say marriage in general, but I would think that marriage, to me, one, is the responsibility of being tied to somebody for a long time. And two, financially, if you're a guy that has money and resources, you own property, you do have to be a lot more careful of who you intend on being in relationships with, for you know, down the line. You know, you just got to be careful. But you know, maybe Jeezy has thought about all that and just doesn't care. He wants to do what he wants to do. So, good luck to him.